I feel like I'm in a place where I'm enjoying the ride. Despite what my voice sounds like, I've been really enjoying myself. Hey everybody, so it is August 4th and we're doing our first actual legitimate episode of Dose of Dianne. And this Thursday's topic is going to be about depression, because I'm doing a series about depression and coping with it. And I actually got a really big response on Facebook from my Facebook friends, so this might be more than a two-part Monday and Thursday Monday series. So who knows where this is going to go, but today the point of this video is to be talking about my story with depression and how I deal with it. And then Monday is going to be more in depth about how I cope with depression and getting through it and moving past it and learning from it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stop talking about and introing this video, because yesterday it took me like 500 takes and I got a bunch of footage and nothing. So let's just get into the video. It stems from last school year when I got a panic attack disorder. For those of people who don't know, first of all, what a panic attack is a sudden disabling rush of panic, and when you have a disorder, these things just like kind of happen out of nowhere. So I only had like 2 panic attacks before this in my entire life, and I was dealing with a lot of things that happened from starting college and living in the dorms. I'd never lived without my parents ever in my life. I'd always been at home. I'd also always been in Hawaii. So I'm still in Hawaii, but I was just not living with my parents. And it was just a lot. Also, I was having a lot of financial aid troubles. For those people who do FAFSA, the struggle. Also, I'd had to do a verification, which sucked. My verification process was horrible. Apparently 1 in every 3 students has to do it, but what happened is we had moved from Hawaii to Texas, and when you move from Hawaii to Hawaii, your stuff has to be shipped. So we didn't have any stuff all summer, and they were asking for tax documents, things you just don't carry with you on a plane. So we just didn't have them. And so when I got to school, I was really worried because I felt like I didn't have it. Like I was gonna get kicked out of school. I was just like, oh my goodness, they're gonna kick me out of school. I'm not gonna be able to dorm. What am I gonna do? Just a lot of things. So yeah, I was on edge pretty much all the time. Then when I got to my dorm, it's kind of a natural habit for me to want to help everybody. So I kind of ended up being a dorm mom. And I loved really helping the kids, but then I ended up spending a lot of time neglecting my own problems that I was going through. And so when I would like sit by myself, I would just suddenly be really, really anxious about everything. And I guess it ended up culminating in me having panic attacks. And I would just be sitting in a room with people. I think one of my worst ones was I was in a calf with everybody, and we were all having our like Johnson Hall B dinner, and all of a sudden I got this like weird brain wave, and like the whole world just went like, and everything around me just started slowing down. And then it just, for me, the panic attacks feel like I'm a shrinking dot inside of my body. And I like can't feel the thing that is the most noticeable that I can't feel is my hands. And it just feels like my body has to yawn, but it just can't. Like all of my muscles just feel like, and that's it. And like we just don't exhale, so it's very painful sometimes. And I felt the brainwave, and I was like, oh no, I need to get out of here. So I started walking out of the cafeteria, and then it was raining, so I had to stay and wait for the rain to stop because it was pouring. It wasn't just drizzling. But I waited for the rain to stop, and then I started walking back to my dorm, and then suddenly I just couldn't walk anymore. So, you know, it would get that bad. And then I was having nocturnal panic attacks. So while I was sleeping, I would just have a panic attack, and then yeah, it was not fun at all. And so from this, you'd have to know who I was before last school year, and I feel like a lot of people in my dorm didn't know me before last school year, so they didn't know why if you met me last school year, you wouldn't know why this would be so depressing. I think this might be depressing in general, but before last school year, I was like that chick. I was like handling business over here, starting a business over there, helping this friend over here, making money over there, and I was like doing things, and I was straight A's and taking extra classes, doing extra tutoring, waking up at 3 in the morning, catching a 4:30 bus to get to school, and then suddenly I just can't control my body, and I just can't. I was even afraid to go to sleep because, like, if I went to sleep too early, then it would give me more opportunities to have panic attacks, and to just not be in control of your body is a really depressing thing. So yeah, I was super depressed, and from my first semester to my second semester, I was less stressed because my loans were finally processing the right thoughts and the right motivation, but my brain and my energy was just not there. I had a lot of stuff going on. Like my best friend, my best friend who had been kind of like my rock and my go-to when I was having my panic attacks, he changed schools, and at the very beginning of the semester, my grandma died, so there was lots of stuff, and my brain was just not in the right place. The only thing that I did have going for me was that I got a job, and so I was working. But then when you get a job, I was working full-time, and I thought I could work full-time. Could not work full-time. I was always tired, like every single day. I had a 3 to 10 shift most days, and so I would get off at 10 and just go to sleep. And that ended up culminating in me realizing that I was so depressed, and that I really felt like I wasn't able to spend enough time on anything that I wanted to do with my life. Yeah, that's depressing, because when I came back for second semester, I had that goal of, this goal of, I'm gonna do I'm gonna capture my dreams. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find happiness. That's why I made this channel initially, was to find happiness, and I just wasn't doing that, and it made me really depressed. So that depression just kind of carried throughout the semester. I was also getting physically sick, and then the last thing that made everything just worse was towards the end of the semester I got a huge concussion, and I hadn't had any panic attacks the majority of the semester, but once I got my concussion, I had panic attacks like every single day. I was going to sleep, waking up from a panic attack. It was really bad. And what happened is, like, I got hit by a registered drawer like right here, and it like flacked out and hit me, and so I got a concussion. And my concussion symptoms are really they weren't good at all. Like, a lot of people get concussions, they have a headache, shake it off. My concussion was got hit in the head. I had no symptoms for like a week. Then all of a sudden I was forgetting things. I couldn't remember words. I couldn't speak English that well. My Korean was great, but I could not speak English that well. I remember song lyrics, like, but I could not remember a song lyric to save my life. And even right now, this summer, because I've been rehabbing, this summer I couldn't remember the day Thursday. Like, it's like a concept that one Thursday, I can't remember Thursday except for this Thursday because it's marked by an important event. But on Wednesday I'll remember it's Thursday, on Friday I'll remember it was Thursday, but on Thursday I cannot grasp that it's Thursday. It's weird. But another thing that was and still is a problem is that I couldn't get overstimulated. If I'm having a good time and I've done a lot of things and my heart's racing, and then, you know, like, people are enjoying themselves in the crowd and we're all talking, all of a sudden my brain's just like, what are we doing? And yeah, and I just had that happen like a couple days ago. Me and my parents were like hanging out in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden I just felt like I was having a body yawn. And I'm saying a body yawn, but like, the panic attacks and whatever that is that I do is not as pleasant as a yawn. Like, if you can imagine, somebody on Tumblr said this, if you can imagine tipping your chair over, like that feeling right when your chair is like this and you know you're about to fall, that's what a panic attack feels like all the time. Or when you're watching a scary movie and something jumps out, that's what it feels like. And it would be like that for like an hour or more, and it's just really painful to have happen to you. And so this summer I was super depressed. I didn't contact that many people. I just posted on Facebook. There was lots of things going on in the world that was making me depressed, and to be honest, like, I was just getting angry because I just wasn't getting it together. Even though my physical therapist said, Diane, look, you need to pace yourself. You're not going to be all together all the time. But I couldn't get it together, and it made me so depressed. And then it made me depressed and angry. And then I was mad at people. And then also irritability comes with a concussion. So I was just an irritable, depressed mess. And then I didn't know where my life was going. I was like, do I even need to go back to school? Because it's not like I'm doing anything anyway. I felt like a failure. And it was just, I had people visiting me this summer, and they were super fun. But then as soon as they left, I was just like, and I just wasn't getting out of bed. My problem when I'm depressed is sometimes I don't eat anything. But this summer I was just having snack attacks, which is weird for me because now I don't know what to do about not eating. Overeating. I know how to not undereat, but overeating is new. So now I gained weight, which was making me more depressed, and it just, like, it snowballs. But I think after my Austin trip, and I feel like the biggest root of my depression was that I just didn't know what was going on with my life. I didn't know where it was going. Everything was out of control, nothing was in control. And like, another thing that happened, like I said, I lived in one house in Kapolei for most of my life, and we didn't have that house anymore, so it just felt like I belonged to nowhere. And so I didn't have a root, and everything just felt like it was out of control, and it wasn't fun. But once I went to Austin and I paid for the trip by myself and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, handled my own schedule and got to know myself better, I feel like I was okay. I got so much better. Once I got to the root of why I was depressed, which did not take 1 week in Austin, that took a lot of therapy, a lot of self-love, just so many things. So you know, I don't want people watching this and thinking like, oh, Dianne was depressed and she went to Austin and she got away from everything and that made it all better. It didn't. That is a culmination of a lot of work. But yeah, now that I have a plan for my life and what I'm doing, and I know if I need to go to school or not, which I do, and I will be, I know the direction my life is going, I can be happy. You know, like once you know what track your train is on, you can ride the train. But if you're just sitting there thinking like, where are we going? Where are we going? You'll be anxious the whole time and you won't be able to enjoy the ride. And now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm enjoying the ride. Despite what my voice sounds like, I've been really enjoying myself. Like that, that's what I feel like. I can finally breathe because I'm not trying to figure out stuff. I'm not trying to figure out what I feel, I'm okay. And I feel like right now I don't have to be anything other than okay. I can just be okay. And that's good enough for me. Like, not that this is like, not that okay is a bad state, but going from like the worst in my life ever to being finally okay is good. So I'll just outro this and I'll see you around. Hopefully I'll see you on Monday, because Monday is when I give out tips that help me function while I was depressed, because in this world you can't just be depressed. People won't just let you be depressed. And a lot of us have to go to work, we have to go to school, and so stay tuned on Monday. Also, some of the tips I'm going to be giving are things to help you get over the negative things that you do, such as overeating, undereating, that kind of thing when you're depressed. So stay tuned on Monday, and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.